So I'm back with a couple of ukuleles that look different, but that if you've watched my other videos, you may remember from a very early video I did. Part of the Ukulele Secrets sequence I've been doing. And I really appreciate people that are putting the word out about ukuleles. I watch Got a Ukulele channel regularly. He has some great reviews, and I learn a lot about brands and approaches to brands from his. I don't think he's done any of these because they're not known at all. And this is a brand called UKBoy, and I am a UK boy. I was born and raised in England and now live in the States. Actually, I've been in the States a long time. A lot of you comment on my accent wavering between two. I'm a mid-Atlantic in some respects. But anyway, these are really interesting ukes. I don't know of any main distributors in the US or the UK actually. You can get them sometimes on a place like eBay, but I think when you get them, they're basically seconds, and they do need a lot of work. So what I do is I get them and then part them up, do a full fret level and dress, all the adjustments on it, and make them perfectly playable. And then often I move them on. I've kept a couple that I really like, but so if you want one of these, obviously you can look at my information and what I have listed on my Reverb page. But anyway, the main point of this video today is materials. This is spalted, and in this case it's spalted ash. Interesting approach to a ukulele. Now a lot of times you get a ukulele and it's either a hardwood like a mahogany or koa, or one of these sort of new koa, they call acacia bodies, or you'll get a more of a guitar approach with a spruce, a softwood, a pine, or a spruce top with some sort of hardwood back, maple, mahogany, things like that. But you've got a couple of makers experimenting with different woods, and these are quite lively for being hardwood. They're quite lively ukes, pretty decent. This is the spalted ash version, and this one here, and I don't see these very often. See if I can get you a good look. This one is pear wood, and I've seen pear in a couple of places in the musical instrument industry, in very finely made recorders, particularly German. I've seen pear wood recorders that are just absolutely gorgeous and sound beautiful. So they must have some deep resonant qualities. And then I actually saw a cello. I think it was a Manu Kirchen cello, 1800s German. Guitarists, Manu Kirchen might not mean much to you, but that's where the Martins came from. When CF came to the US, they came from Manu Kirchen, and that's the sort of building tradition that they came from. A very important period in violin and guitar making. Anyway, so I've seen pear wood used, but I don't come across it too often. And it's really nice on this little concert ukulele. And now, bear in mind, you're not getting the sound I'm getting. You're getting it through the camera mic. So spare me the comments, oh that sounds awful. It actually sounds quite nice. It's not as full as say the cedar and spruce topped ukes that I've heard with that softwood resonance. And maybe it doesn't equal the very, very fine solid koa instruments of antiquity, kamaka and things like that. But for what it is, which is a inexpensive ukulele, it's really quite decent. Both of these are really nice ukuleles, and I had other woods that I wanted to show you, but they're gone. They're very popular, and people in my neighborhood, when I set these up, always want them. So these are the two I have left. But this is a rather unknown maker called UKBoy, and they dress them differently. Some of them have the shell or the abalone or cowrie shell binding. Some of them have black or white binding. Some of them they leave plain, like this ash one. There's no binding at all. They just decided to let the wood speak for itself. They all come with really nice graded, decent grade rosewood boards. And a rosewood bridge which is cut really nice. It's a very nice, elegant shape with the bridge pins, and a bone nut and saddle. And the tuners, which are black on most models, although they do have some chrome and gold tuners now and again, are decent. They hold. They're not high quality, they're not branded, but they hold. And I've had problems with cheap ukuleles with tuners that just don't hold and are problematic. So it's always pleasing to find one that works well. And these all come with a very nice UKBoy bag. It's a padded sort of Cordura nylon type bag with a front pocket and a backpack strap. Good quality case. Now sometimes when I get inexpensive ukuleles to work on, and I hunt down all kinds of weird and unknown brands, because I look for those hidden gems, and I find them. I also find crap as well, but I do find hidden gems. A lot of times they don't come with a bag, so I have to go to one of those cheap bag merchants and buy a lot of 10 bags, and they're usually just a very plain nylon or worse, thin, no padding. So these bags, I mean, these are $30, $40 bags, I can tell. So when you're getting a uke, something like this, under $100, with a nice bag like that, and it's got that luthier setup. That's my selling point. Is that you buy ukuleles and guitars off Amazon or off eBay. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have to take it to a shop and have it set up, and they're gonna pile on another $40, $50, $60. Unless you've learned a little bit of setup yourself, in which case you're golden. But the way I do it is everything that I sell, everything that I work on has a proper setup on it, and I make it as playable as possible. And I improve often the parts and the strings. Now I go with Aquila or Aquila strings. I like them. I know that some people don't. The guy on Got a Ukulele, he doesn't like Aquila. I think he prefers Martin strings, if I remember rightly. Fair enough. I happen to like these Aquila strings, but a lot of cheap ukulele vendors and manufacturers, particularly out of Asia, well, they're all out of Asia, aren't they, use fake Aquila strings. So they look like them. They have that sort of white plastic Nile gut, I think they call it. They have that, but it's not real. And they're not as good. So you have to watch out. So I keep packs of Aquila strings around to replace strings on a lot of the ukuleles that I work on. And some of them come with just horrendous strings. It's the same with guitars. It's the same with violins. It's the same with cellos. Anything I work on, 9 times out of 10, is going to come with the worst possible strings on it. And of course, that's got to be one of the first things to go when you're doing a setup. So just expect that. Order bulk strings. There are plenty of places that you can find them. 10 sets, 20 sets, things like that. If you're planning to do some hunting and trying different instruments and even learning to work on instruments, it's important to have a stash of strings and guard them with your life. I get people coming over trying to, grab a pack of strings. They don't realize that even though I'm buying them bulk, I may not be paying $10 a piece for them, but I'm paying $5. So yeah, guard them with your life. But anyway, I've sort of gotten off track. These are just 2 alternative style hardwood, exotic hardwood ukuleles. These are glossed. The same manufacturer also does a series of satin finishes, and different spalted woods. I just had a spalted maple that was gorgeous in a satin finish. They do a burled walnut. And a lot of times, another thing about Asian manufacturers and makers, they don't always know how to advertise their stuff, or their English use of English may be challenged in some way. So they'll use phrases like butterfly wood or ripple wood, or with the spalteds, they actually list it on some of their listings as rotted wood. Now, technically, it is a partially rotting process that causes the spalting, right? Spalting. But I don't know if it's feasible to advertise something as being rotten. But of course, they don't have the experience with the language, and to them, the word rotten may not have serious overtones about being rotten, rubbish, garbage. So a lot of times they won't even tell you what kind of wood is. You have to sort of figure it out for yourself, because they won't have the English words for it. And sometimes they even list the wrong words. I often see on their listings things like ebony instead of rosewood, or maple instead of rosewood, or saying the whole the whole ukulele is spruce when it's only a spruce top and a rosewood back, or a mahogany back. So, tread lightly when it comes to listings from Asian and Chinese sellers, because a lot of times they won't be able to express, even in their ad copy on their websites, if they even have a website, or on their eBay or Reverb or Alibaba or AliExpress listings, they often won't use the right nomenclature for a particular instrument. And there are all kinds of pitfalls with that. They might say solid wood when it's partially solid. They might not use the word laminate. They may or not know the word ebonized, which does not mean ebony. It means painted to look like ebony. So, you sort of have to develop eyes for this stuff, and be able to tell for yourself what you're dealing with. But anyway, I'm way off track now. Here's a couple of cool entry-level ukuleles that you can pick up cheaply, and they're really quite good. They're surprisingly sonorous and interesting models. They're not high-end, but for the price, with a bit of setup, or if you get it from somebody who's already set it up, like me, they're a good little deal. So, see you next time.